what is up, you guys? I hope you're all doing so well. Today is a very exciting video because I have finally caught on to something I've been trying for so long, which, as you could tell by the name of the video, is knitting. If you are one of my earliest subscribers, you would know that I have mentioned so many times that I have just never been able to grasp knitting. Like, I have known how to do a knit and a purl for like 15 years, but something about the throwing and just the whole thing has never clicked for me, which is why I'm really a crochet girly. Something about crochet, just it's fast, the process, it clicks for me. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you're one of those girls, you get it. Anyway, so I have never been able to get the hang of knitting, and then suddenly I learned something called continental knitting, and that has just absolutely changed the game for me. So today I am going to be making my first ever knitted garment. It is finally getting cold, but not cold enough for the motorcycle people to stop motorcycling. But anyway, so today I am going to knit my first garment ever. I am so excited. I am going to do a walkthrough. I'm obviously in no place to be making a tutorial. This is more of a ride along with me, but I'm sure if you're some people, I'm one of these people, I don't really love watching straightforward tutorials. Sometimes I just like to watch other people do the general steps. Does that make sense? That's what I'm doing in this video. I'm gonna stop talking. Let me show you the yarn that I bought. I am so excited to try this yarn. I have been touching this yarn at Michael's for a year now. I started this channel about a year ago, and this was one of the first yarns I was ever just drawn to. It is so dreamy. It is the Eco Cozy by Loops and Threads, and they call it the Eco Cozy because it's made from recycled plastic. We love that. We love the earth. So it is not only eco or whatever, but it is so dreamy. It's so soft and lush, but something about it to me just said it's not for crochet. I'm probably wrong. There's probably beautiful crocheted pieces with this yarn, but I've been waiting to learn how to knit, to use this yarn, and the wait is no longer. We are here. I don't know what that was. I bought 6 skeins of this. I hope that's enough. I tried to overbuy, and then it recommends an 8mm circular needle set. I think that's what they're called. And I know from tutorials that usually people rib with smaller needles. This is a 1 yarn, 1 needle kind of sweater, so that's what we're going with. So the plan for said garment is going to be as simple as a pattern can be without using a pattern. I'm going to make a front panel with a slight curve. I don't know if you can do this with knitting. I'm going to try it. I really don't want to read a pattern. I don't know if I've made that clear yet. I'm just not there yet. I feel like trying to read a knitting pattern is really gonna discourage me from the current knitting high I'm on. Front panel, gonna slightly dip so that I can make a rounded collar. Back panel, just all the way up, no collar. The back panel is literally gonna be a rectangle. Ribbing on the bottom, yes. I know how to rib when knitting. I know, pretty advanced. And then sew together, add sleeves, and add a collar. The collar, I have to say, is probably the part I'm the most worried about, but whatever, we will forge ahead. We will be going. All that said, I'm gonna cast on. All right, so it's been a hot minute. I balled up my yarn, as you can see, and I've already used some of it to make a swatch that I have instantly lost. It's been not that long. It's been 30 minutes, and I made the swatch, took some notes, lost the swatch. I'm gonna blame my cat. Don't know who else to blame. Couldn't be me. Based on my swatch, I need 78 stitches across, and what I'm trying to keep in mind is that I want the panel to be from here, this part of my shoulder, to the other side, the same part of my shoulder, and then so I can seam up, and the sleeves start here. So the sleeves start a little off the shoulder and not right at the shoulder. So 78 stitches is what I presume for each panel I need a cross. So I'm gonna do a long tail cast on 78 stitches. Next time you see me, hopefully I have some ribbed rows done. And also the ribbing I'm doing is knit one, purl one. I literally sound like a professional. Okay, it is quite a few days later and I have not gotten very far at all, but I think I have the ribbing done. I feel like traditionally people would do a few more rows, but I'm feeling impatient, so I'm not gonna do a few more rows, okay? But it's my sweater and I can do what I want. All right, so just to recap, 78 stitches across, 5 rows of ribbing, and now it's literally just knit across, purl across,
knit across, purl across,
until I get to the neckline where I believe I have to do some fancy knitting stuff. And that's where knitting definitely gets more complicated than crochet, but we are here to try something new and learn something new. Updates on the yarn, I'm absolutely loving it still. It is phenomenal to work with. I love the bamboo needles, highly would recommend. I know they're a little more expensive than the plastic and the metal, but it's such a satisfying feeling to work with the bamboo, especially with yarn like this, which is just super dreamy. But anyway, that's literally all I have to update you guys on. I'm gonna try a time lapse because I've never done one before. And if you've been here before, you know my camera is my iPhone and they have a time lapse function and I'm interested to see how that works. I have some work to do because this is only the front panel, and if my procrastinating self took 4 days to do this, I really can't have this sweater taking a whole month, man. Can't happen. Okay, so first and foremost, look at these little stoppers I got. How cute are they? Here is my panel, and I like my tops to reach like where my belt is, especially if it's a sweater, because you can't like tuck in a sweater very well. Like you can, but that defeats the purpose of the ribbing. I think I'm right about at the length I want. Giving myself like 5 more rows to, you know, curve out the neckline, if that makes sense. I'm currently at 55 rows, in case you were wondering, 55 to get me to this length. Still loving the yarn. Oh, also, that time lapse, totally useless unless I was to film myself for like 10 hours, which isn't gonna happen. Now, this is the part where it gets kind of tricky considering I have no idea what I'm doing. The back panel is going to just go straight up. The front panel, I'm going to curve for a neckline. I've watched people make sweaters before. I'm not like following a tutorial or anything like that. I still need to learn how to increase, decrease, so I need to find a video on how to do that. I have no idea. But from what I've seen, you have to take the loops that you're not gonna be working on and put them on scrap yarn while you work on the other side. This is my current plan. It's 78 stitches across, right? So I'm gonna find the middle and then go over a little bit to where I want the neckline to start decreasing. And that's where I'm going to put the scrap yarn. Then I think I have to cast off for like a few stitches where this is, I believe, and then continue across and then start decreasing on this side until it meets the shoulder, and then cast off, and then on this side put the loops back on the needle and do the same thing but decreasing in the other direction. I hope, and I know that sounds confusing because I'm confused. Okay, so literally mid-row, realized it was on mute. Let me show you what I did. Oh my god, these stitches actually look so dreamy right now in this shot. Obsessed. Okay, I put these on the little string. Yes, and then I did cast off, which was frightening. And then here I just picked up knitting like normal because I knit across before I put the string on. So that means I have to keep knitting across for them to have an even amount of rows. I think that's just my logic right now. And then I guess I'll have to start decreasing when I turn to purl. So at this point, I definitely need to look up tutorials on how to decrease on purl rows. In my head, you just slip the needle through 2 stitches, but there's no way that it's that easy. So I am gonna have to do a little bit of research. Again, any tutorials that help me will probably help you because I find the shortest, straight to the point ones as possible. So they'll be in the description below, but I gotta do a little bit of homework. And then this is like the worst part, I think, because the rest of it, I think I'll be able to wing it pretty well. But this part, I can't even make up how I think it works. So I'm gonna have to do a little research. Alright, so I watched a few different tutorials that got me more confused than I was before, and I think the general consensus to me right now as an absolute beginner is that I'm like making sure the stupid mute button isn't on. Okay, is that a leaning knit decrease look on the purl side is just way too confusing for me. It was like a million different steps. So what I decided to do, I wrote it down. Okay, so I have knitted across 1 row completely, including the cast off in the middle and the side spacing, whatever, of the left shoulder and all that. So that's 1 knit row. Then on the right shoulder, I purled across like normal. Then I turned and I just did a knit 1, slip, slip, decrease. Slip, slip, knit type decrease. If you're a knitter, maybe you could provide me some clarity. But what I don't understand is in all the tutorials, they're like, oh, knit however many you want before the decrease. But none of them explain why we should be knitting before the decrease. So I'm not sure what that's all about. The Wool and the Gang did 2 knits before their decrease. And because I don't know why they did it, I only did 1. In my head, I'm like, oh, it like makes a little border. I don't even know if that's true. So that's what I'm doing. We'll see how it turns out. But I did, yeah, so I knitted 1 stitch like normal, and then I joined 2 stitches, which is kind of similar to how I said. You kind of put it through 2, but not really. Maybe I'll show you a little close up now that I've learned. So then I'm going to purl across normal again, do another decreasing row, purl back, and then cast off. So I think that will technically make it 61 rows total, I think, but I'm not sure, but that's fine. Again, I have no idea, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, anyway, this shouldn't take me too long. It's only like 3 rows, and then we do the other side, which I'm very nervous about. So enough chit chat. Let's get to work, girls. Okay, so I used a time lapse for that and it did not do what I thought it was doing, but here is the one side completed. And I actually think it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I don't know if you guys can tell. I think when it's laying flat, it's a little more circular, and I'm adding a collar, so I'm okay with it being this high. For those of you at home who are worried about how high it is, I want it to be like a sweater with a collar for the winter. So now I just have to do this side, following the same pattern, but now I have to decrease and then knit one going this way to make sure that it looks the same, I believe. And yeah, okay. Let's finish. First things first, please ignore where my cat has destroyed this bed. Please ignore. But voila! Front panel is done. This is her in all of her glory. Came out pretty good. Came out pretty good. The only thing I'm not super proud of is how I knotted it at the end. I hope that doesn't cause for issue later down the line, but I guess we'll find out when that time comes. And other than that, now I just have to do the same exact thing, but without this scary part. No collar, just a straight panel with ribbing at the bottom, the same amount of rows for the back. And then we get to just do the fun stuff. Not that this wasn't fun. This was, again, a very nice yarn to work with for a first sweater ever. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Knock on wood. But I just think the sleeves are in the round, so no purling, I think. The collar is gonna be ribbing, which is kind of fun. So I think the next few steps are gonna be more fun after I finish the back panel. So let's just skip to that part. That was super corny. I don't do transitions. Okay, guys and gals, I've done it. I really just put the pedal to the metal and did the back panel. This is the front panel. I did the back panel. And you can see I literally just went straight up. There's no neckline. She's ready to go. So now, as I've been saying for the last 20 minutes probably, is the part I'm most excited about, which is putting it all together, because once we have these panels together, technically it's already a fit, right? This is like our race to the finish line, and please don't pay any attention to my post-shower lazy look. Today was a hair day. If you know, you know. It's just the one day a week I can't be bothered. So let's just jump into putting these panels together. And then today I want some quick satisfaction. So I'm probably gonna do the neckline, which I think I know what I'm doing. I'm kind of gonna wing it. I'm mostly going to wing it. We're gonna be up close on my hands. So please, this is a judgment-free zone. And two, if you've been here before, you know I'm a Bravo fanatic. I'm usually always watching Bravo while I do these projects. Today I'm watching a YouTube video on how to improve my knitting, so round of applause, thank you. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to, but you know what? Thank you, I appreciate it. Let's go. Let's finish this sweater. It is so cute. They have this yarn in green, and I think I'm gonna make another one in green. But let's see if it comes out good first. Let's not put the cart before the horse. If you were born in the 1800s and you know what I mean. Okay. This, guys, it's literally a sweater. Okay. I actually really like it. I think it's so cute. It's like the perfect amount of chunky, but because it's so, like, this yarn is so airy, guys. It's barely a yarn. It's more like just pure fiber. Kind of like the same stuff I used for the balaclava I made last year. But anyway, it's just so light and airy, but it looks like it's chunky. It's just not super thick like most chunky yarns, if that makes sense. The only qualm I have is that here, is it this side? Yeah. When I was casting off across, I could have made it a little tighter because now there's this gap here. But I think I can fix that when I go to put the collar on, I think. And I'm hope. I think, and I'm hope. Yeah. Okay, so now the way I usually do this is I make sure the shoulder is where it's supposed to be, and then I just pin where I want the sleeve to be. And then I'm going to count how many stitches up it is and count on the other side to make sure it's matched up perfectly, because like when I'm stretching and stuff, I'm lifting the back, so you don't want to just go across and not count and, you know, blah blah blah, seam it together. And then I'm just gonna copy it on the other side, and so next time you see this bad boy, it'll be like a vest, kind of. And then we're gonna put the collar on. Okay, it's a plan. I just added like 3 rows of ribbing. I'm kind of worried my head isn't gonna fit through this. I tried to look up a cast off that was like stretchy, but I just could not bring myself to pay attention to what was happening. So I did a normal cast off, and now I might regret it. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to try it on, but I think the collar looks cute. It's not perfect. Over here, it like goes this way. Like there's some stitches that you could tell are like my decreases, but you can't tell on this side. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm really too lazy to fix it, so I'm not going to. Okay, so my head obviously fit through the hole, but I did have to take my clip out, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of really happy with how it is. I like the way the sleeves fit, like just as it is, very simple. It's relaxed, and that is all completely due to this yarn. Again, I could not be a bigger fan. I think I definitely want to make another garment, maybe complete my vision with the sleeves, but in one of their other colors in this yarn. It is so dreamy, but I like the way it's like fitting with the sleeves. And because it's a thick sweater material, sometimes it's nice during the winter to not have to put sleeves into a jacket. You know what I'm saying? Am I just being lazy? I don't think so. I think I really like it the way it is. I think this color flatters my hair very well. Is that a weird statement to say? I don't know. But yeah, I kind of think I'm gonna stop here. I'm feeling very accomplished. I've officially knit my first thing ever. Like, I've never knitted a thing before. Maybe I think I made a scarf, but this is like not a scarf. This is a thing. This is a garment. So I guess since I'm deciding to not add sleeves, this is the end of my journey here, knitting a little garment, it's still a sweater, it's just a short sleeved sweater. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up so I can know what kind of videos to keep making. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things. And more importantly, if you make a similar sweater, tag me on Instagram, because that's my favorite thing in the world. But other than that, I hope you guys like my little sweater, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood today.